My name is Virelle Stone, and for a long time, my entire world fit inside a glowing rectangle. A monitor, a webcam, a chat scrolling so fast it felt alive. I was 28 when everything fell apart. But the story really starts years earlier, back in 2020, when the world shut down and people went online looking for connection. I was one of them. Only for me, it wasn't just escape. It was purpose. I streamed games from a cramped apartment in Phoenix, Arizona. Beige walls, cheap desk, a secondhand chair that squeaked every time I leaned back. My PC sounded like it was begging for mercy, but it ran, and that was enough. I wasn't flashy. I didn't scream into the mic or fake reactions. I talked. I listened. I built a space where people felt seen. That's what made them stay. My channel was small at first, 50 viewers on a good night. But then clips started spreading. People liked the way I explained strategies calmly, the way I laughed when things went wrong instead of raging, the way I remembered usernames. One night, after a 12-hour stream, I got a message. "Hey, this is Atlas from NovaForge. You got a minute?" NovaForge was a rising esports and content team. Blue checkmark, clean branding, sponsors I recognized. I stared at the message longer than I'd admit. We talked on Discord the next day. Atlas had a smooth voice, confident but friendly. He said they were looking to expand their streaming presence. He said I had natural leadership energy. He said they wanted me. I remember pacing my apartment, heart pounding, nodding, even though he couldn't see me. Joining NovaForge felt like being chosen. At first, it was everything I hoped for. They added my logo to their website, promoted my streams, sent me branded overlays and merch. My viewership doubled, then tripled. I worked nonstop. I helped onboard new creators, ran community game nights, moderated chats when others didn't show up. I brainstormed content ideas, coordinated collabs, and stayed up until 3 a.m., fixing problems that technically weren't mine. But I told myself that's what being part of a team meant. Late 2021, NovaForge blew up. Sponsors rolled in. Sub counts climbed. Our Discord went from a few hundred members to tens of thousands. People recognized the name, and a lot of that traffic came through my channel. I didn't say that out loud. I didn't need to. The numbers were public. Still, something shifted. Meetings happened without me. Decisions were announced, not discussed. My suggestions started getting brushed off, then repeated later by someone else, louder, and suddenly praised. I noticed my name missing from promo tweets. When I asked Atlas about it, he laughed lightly. "Don't overthink it, V. We're all growing together." But the tone changed. Less warmth, more distance. By early 2023, contracts were being renegotiated. Everyone was excited, except me. I asked for a call. Atlas, Jax, and Mira joined. Cameras off. That should have been my first clue. Atlas cleared his throat. "So, we've been reviewing performance metrics." My stomach tightened. Jax jumped in. "We think the brand needs to move in a different direction." Mira added, "More high energy, faster content." I waited. My heart was beating so loudly I could hear it in my ears. Atlas finally said it. "We're going to let you go." I laughed at first, a short, confused sound. "You're kidding." No one laughed back. Atlas sighed. "It's not personal." That sentence, the most personal sentence there is. I reminded them of the numbers, the growth, the community I built. I reminded them I trained half their current streamers. There was a pause. Then Atlas said, calm and final, "You're replaceable, Virelle." Replaceable? Like a plug-in, like a widget, like I hadn't poured years of my life into that brand. They offered a generic exit post, a quiet goodbye. No drama, I ended the call numb. For 3 days, I didn't stream. I barely slept. I sat on my bed, scrolling through Nova Forge's socials, watching them act like I never existed. When they announced my departure, the comments exploded. Wait, what happened to Virelle? She was the heart of this team. This doesn't make sense. Nova Forge replied with corporate smiles and vague statements. I didn't. Not yet. Because something strange happened in the middle of the pain. Anger settled in. Not the loud kind. The focused kind. I opened my streaming software and stared at the empty scene. My name, alone on the screen. For the first time in years, I wasn't representing anyone but myself. I whispered to the room, if I'm replaceable, let's see how replaceable I really am. I hit Go Live, and the viewer count started climbing faster than I'd ever seen before. When I hit Go Live that night, I expected maybe a couple hundred viewers, people stopping by to check on me, to ask questions, to see if I was okay. I wasn't, but the viewer count didn't care. 3,000 viewers, then 5,000, then 8,000. My chat exploded like fireworks. Chat, we missed you. Did Nova Forge really kick you out? Say it wasn't your decision. Tell us the truth, V. I stared at the screen, my fingers hovering over my keyboard. This was the moment where most streamers would make a choice. Stay quiet for professionalism or speak for themselves. I swallowed hard. I'm not here to burn bridges, I said, voice trembling but steady. But I'm also not here to lie. Silence in the chat. Then messages pouring in so fast, the buffer froze. I didn't rant. I didn't scream. I just told the truth. I told them how meetings happened without me, how my ideas were taken and repackaged, how I was told I was replaceable, how I was pushed out of the brand I helped build. And then I said, the thing that changed everything. I'm not done. This is not the end of me. The chat erupted. Donations, gifted subs, membership joins. Like everyone collectively reached into the void to pull me back up. Someone in chat wrote, start your own team. Another, we'll follow you anywhere, V. And for the first time since the call with Nova Forge, something inside me flickered back to life. Hope. Not loud, not dramatic, just a steady ember. I ended the stream with a promise. I'm building something new, from scratch, with people who actually care. And if you want to be part of it, stay with me. The next morning, my phone buzzed nonstop. DMs, emails, collaboration requests, even a sponsorship inquiry from a company that used to work with Nova Forge. I stared at the screen, stunned. This wasn't pity. It wasn't charity. It was momentum. I made coffee, sat at my desk, and opened a blank document titled Project Rebirth. Then I wrote the first line. Goal. Create a community that can't be taken away from me. Ever again. But I needed help. I couldn't rebuild alone, so I reached out to someone I trusted. Her name was Ember Rhodes, one of the streamers I had trained back at Nova Forge. Quiet. Overlooked. Someone who understood what it felt like to be dismissed. I texted her. Hey, are you happy there? She responded in under a minute. No, call me. Now. We talked for hours. She confessed everything. How they'd started treating her differently since I left. How they were monitoring her chat messages. How they threatened to tighten contracts. They're scared of you, V, she whispered. They know what you're capable of. Her words shook me. Because I didn't feel powerful. I felt like glass. Cracked, but holding. Still, I asked her the question that had been burning in my chest. Would you leave and build something with me? Silence. I could hear her breathing. Then, yes, tell me what to do. By the end of the week, 3 more creators reached out. All of them had stories. Rude managers, unpaid sponsorship cuts, decisions made behind closed doors. It turned out I wasn't the only one they underestimated. I created a shared folder, drafted a brand concept, outlined values, transparency, trust, no fake family branding, real collaboration. We didn't have a name yet, but we had purpose. That was enough. On the next stream, I made the announcement. We're starting a new content collective, I said. Not a corporation, not a hierarchy, a collaboration. My viewer count hit 12,000. I added, if Nova Forge calls us replaceable, then let's show them how wrong they are. That clip went viral. Not overnight, not instantly. But momentum is a snowball, and once it starts rolling, all the mountains in the world won't stop it. Within days, commentary channels picked it up. Is Virelle Stone exposing the dark side of esports teams? Why did Nova Forge drop their most successful creator? The streamer who refused to stay silent. And then, something I didn't expect. Nova Forge responded. A tweet. Corporate font. Neutral tone. Cold. We wish Virelle the best, but we cannot support false narratives. Our decisions were based on performance metrics and professionalism. Performance. Professionalism. As if loyalty wasn't professional. As if integrity wasn't performance. It wasn't an attack, not directly, but it was a spark thrown onto gasoline. My notifications exploded with arguments. People defending me. People defending them. Commentators picking sides. I didn't reply. Not yet, because reacting emotionally would make them right. Or at least, let them frame the story. So instead, I planned. Carefully. Strategically. I started gathering receipts. Not to destroy them, but to protect myself. Emails. Contracts. Screenshots of meetings I was excluded from. Messages praising my leadership before suddenly shifting tone. Not for the public, not yet. Just in case. 3 weeks after going independent, I signed my first sponsorship. Under my own name. Not Nova Forge's, mine. A real deal. A fair one. No silence clauses. No demand to avoid mentioning my past. The night I signed, I streamed again. Welcome to a new era, I said. This is our rebuild. And then, right in the middle of the stream, something happened that made my blood freeze. A message popped up in chat from a verified account. Nova Atlas verified. We need to talk, privately, now. The chat exploded. People spammed emotes. Messages flew faster than I could read. My hand hovered over the mouse. Do I ignore him? Do I answer? Do I let the world watch this unfold? My heart hammered in my chest. I took a breath, and right as I was about to speak, my stream crashed. Black screen. Silence. Disconnected. Like someone pulled the plug. No warning, no error message, just gone. My phone buzzed with a notification. A message from Atlas. You're making a mistake, Virelle. Come back before this gets ugly. My breath caught in my throat. Ugly? They hadn't seen ugly yet. When my stream crashed, I sat in the dark for a full minute, breathing like I just surfaced from underwater. Part of me wondered if it was coincidence. Tech fails happen, but another part of me, the part that survived Nova Forge, knew better. Atlas's message echoed in my head like a threat wrapped in concern. Come back before this gets ugly. It already was. My phone buzzed again. This time, a notification from Ember. Ember. V. What happened? Stream just cut mid-sentence. Are you okay? I typed slowly, fingers shaking. Me. I think they're trying to shut me up. There was a pause, then, Ember. Then we get louder. Her confidence steadied something in me. If Nova Forge wanted to intimidate me, they underestimated the person I had become. The next day, I met Ember in person for the first time. We chose a cafe 3 towns over. Neutral ground, quiet, tucked away between a plant shop and a laundromat with flickering neon lights. Ember walked in wearing a hoodie pulled low, scanning the room like someone expecting to be followed. She slid into the seat across from me. I shouldn't even be here, she whispered. If they find out I met you, her voice trailed off. I leaned in. Then let's make it worth it. We spent hours planning. A real organization. Not a hobby. Not some DIY rebellion. A content collective with memberships, mentorships, sponsorship negotiation support, and co-owned profit shares. A system where no one person had the power to erase anyone else. Ember suggested a name, one that felt like a statement. Second Sun, because even if someone tried to eclipse you, another sunrise was coming. I stared at the name on the napkin where she'd written it. 2 words, simple, defiant, hopeful. We'll build it, I said, piece by piece, brick by brick. She looked scared and hopeful and ready, but war never waits for peace to finish planning. 2 days later, everything escalated. A video dropped, posted by Nova Forge's official channel. A polished PR piece. Soft music, clean graphics. Our side of the story. The truth about Virelle Stone. My heart stopped. I clicked. Atlas appeared on screen. Expression sympathetic in a way that felt rehearsed. Sometimes creators outgrow what a team can offer, he said. We supported Virelle for years, but she became difficult to collaborate with. Unpredictable, emotionally volatile. The word pierced like a needle. He continued, we wish her the best, but for our brand's future, separation was necessary. The comments were disabled. Of course they were. I closed my laptop so fast, the hinge snapped. My pulse was pounding. Fury and fear crashing together. They weren't just trying to silence me. They were trying to rewrite me. Turn me into a cautionary tale. A problem. A liar. I needed air. I left my apartment and walked. No direction, just movement, until Phoenix blurred around me. Streetlights, heat rising from concrete, the smell of the desert in the wind. I thought about quitting. Not forever, just for a moment, just long enough to breathe. Then I heard Ember's voice in my head. Then we get louder. That night, I streamed again. No overlays, no fancy setup, just me and the truth. I saw the video, I said, and I'm not going to match their PR spin with anger. I'm going to answer with facts. I shared my story again, calmly, clearly. I didn't show private messages. I didn't break NDAs. I just told what happened to me from my perspective. Authenticity was my weapon. Then I said something I hadn't planned. I'm starting a new collective. It's called Second Sun. And if Nova Forge calls us replaceable, we'll show them what irreplaceable looks like. Chat erupted. Thousands of messages, support flooding in. Someone donated with a message that made me tear up. You aren't volatile. You're evolving. For the first time, I believed it. Over the next week, things moved fast. A small merch designer offered to help with branding. A lawyer DM'd, offering low-cost contract review for creators joining Second Sun. 2 mid-sized streamers reached out, quietly asking if there was room for them too. Momentum, real momentum. But every victory has a shadow. Late one night, Ember called me. Her voice was shaking. V, something's wrong. What happened? They confronted me. Nova Forge said if I keep associating with hostile parties, they'll terminate my contract with penalties. Penalties? I repeated, chills crawling down my spine. They said they'll go after me financially, ruin my reputation, blacklist me. I heard her swallow, trying not to cry. V, I want to stay with you, but what if I lose everything? I closed my eyes, because I knew exactly how that felt. My voice dropped to a whisper. You won't lose everything. Not if we stand together, and not if we're smart. Silence. Then, what do we do? So I made a choice. A dangerous one. A necessary one. We fight publicly, I said. But we fight carefully. No rage posts. No accusations we can't prove. We show receipts. We show integrity. We show that we're building, not tearing down. And if they hit harder, Ember asked. I exhaled. Then we get louder, because fear only works if you stay quiet. 3 days later, Ember resigned from Nova Forge. She did it with a short message. No drama, no accusations. Just truth. I'm choosing a space where creators aren't replaceable. The internet noticed. Commentary channels picked up the story. TikTok edits circulated. Streamer forums buzzed. Second Son wasn't a whisper anymore. It was a storm forming. And storms draw attention. I was getting ready for bed when my phone buzzed again. Not a text, an email. Sender, legalanova4gayhq.com. Subject line, notice of pending action. My stomach dropped. I opened it. We are aware of recent statements and activities that may constitute reputational damage and interference with business relationships. The rest blurred as adrenaline roared in my ears. This was no longer just drama or rivalry. This was war, and they thought the threat of legal pressure would scare me into silence. I closed my laptop slowly, hands trembling, but not with fear, with certainty, because I finally understood something. They weren't fighting me because I was weak. They were fighting because I was winning. And I wasn't done yet. The email from Nova Forge's legal department sat open on my screen like a detonator, one click away from blowing up everything I had built. My hands hovered over the keyboard, caught between fight and flight. They wanted me scared. They wanted me silent. They wanted control. For a moment, I let myself feel it. The fear. It curled around my ribs like barbed wire. Legal threats weren't just noise. They cost money, time, sanity. They crushed smaller creators every day. I wasn't naive. I couldn't win a war alone. So I didn't try to. I reached out. The next morning, I found myself sitting in a conference room that still smelled like new carpet. Across the table sat a lawyer named Drayton Vale. Sharp suit, sharper eyes, the kind of person who seemed to measure every heartbeat in a room. He slid the printed notice across the table. "They're not suing you yet," he said. "They're positioning themselves, seeing if you'll fold." "That's exactly what I'm afraid of," I admitted. Drayton leaned back. "Then don't fold." Easy words, hard reality. I rubbed my temples. They have a legal department. I have a community in a half-built content collective. A small smile tugged at his mouth. "You'd be surprised how much that's worth." He pulled out a folder. "Listen carefully. You don't fight back by attacking. They'll weaponize that. You fight back by building, by documenting everything, by proving that what you're creating isn't a reaction. It's a replacement." The word hit like a spark to gasoline. Replacement. The word they used to dismiss me. The word they thought would break me. Drayton closed the folder, his tone final. "If they escalate, we respond. But we move on your terms, not theirs." My terms. For once, those words meant something. When I stepped outside, the Arizona sun hit me like a spotlight. Too bright, too honest. I pulled my phone from my pocket and scrolled through messages. Creators asking to join. Sponsors requesting meetings. Fans sending encouragement. It wasn't just support. It was expectation. Responsibility I never asked for, but now needed to carry. I texted Ember. "Me. We're not backing down." Ember. "Good. What's our next move?" Me. "We go public. Carefully." Her reply came with only 2 words. "I'm ready." That night, I prepared a stream unlike any I had ever done. Not a rant, not an expose, a declaration. I set up the camera, checked audio, adjusted lighting. My hands shook the whole time. Not from fear anymore, but from purpose. When I hit Go Live, the viewer count spiked instantly. 10,000. 15,000, 20,000. The chat rolled so fast, it blurred into a river of light. "Tonight," I began, "we're not talking about Nova Forge. We're talking about what comes next." I took a breath. I'm officially launching Second Sun, a coalition for independent creators. No hierarchy, no silent contracts. No one disappears because someone else decides they should. Cheers exploded through the chat. Emotes, gifs, messages like confetti. I continued. This isn't revenge. This is evolution. My voice didn't shake. For the first time, I sounded like someone who believed herself. Then I introduced Ember, live, on camera for the first time since she left Nova Forge. She looked nervous, but her voice was steady. Creators deserve better. We're building better. The chat swarmed her with support. Ember continued. Contracts should protect people, not trap them. Work should be chosen, not coerced. Success shouldn't depend on who's willing to manipulate the hardest. She looked straight at the camera. And in that moment, she was every creator who'd ever been used, dismissed, or replaced. Second Sun wasn't an idea anymore. It was a movement. After the stream, my inbox detonated. 26 collaboration requests, 11 sponsorship offers, 3 journalists asking for interviews. One message stood out. Subject, I want in. Sender, Orion Cade. The name hit me like a memory I'd buried. Orion was Nova Forge's golden child, their star player, their marketing face, the one they protected like royalty. If he was reaching out, something was splintering from the inside. I opened the message. They're not what you think. I know more than I should. We should talk, but not online. My pulse quickened. Was it a trap, a setup, or a fracture in their armor? I typed back, meet me in person. Neutral place. You choose. A typing bubble appeared, then vanished, then reappeared. Tomorrow, 9 p.m., Warehouse District, Unit 17. Come alone. It felt cinematic enough to be dangerous. I stared at the reply, heart hammering. My survival instinct screamed to delete it. Forget it. Walk away. Instead, I screenshot it and sent it to Ember. Me. If I don't text you by 9:30, call Drayton. Ember. Do not go alone. Me. I have to. Ember tried calling. I let it ring because I already knew I couldn't build a future if I kept running from the past. I closed my laptop, put on my jacket, tied my hair back. Fear walked beside me, but for once, it didn't lead. The Warehouse District was a graveyard of old neon and rust. The air smelled like dust and rain. My footsteps echoed against metal doors as I approached Unit 17. Faded numbers, cracked paint, a single light flickering above it like a dying star. I raised my hand to knock. Before my knuckles touched the door, it opened. Orion Cade stood there, tired eyes, tense shoulders, looking like someone who'd been carrying secrets too heavy for too long. You came, he said. I need answers, I replied. His expression hardened. Then, you're going to hear all of it. What Nova Forge did, what they're planning, and why they can't let Second Sun exist. My heart seized. What do you mean? I whispered. Orion hesitated, like the truth itself weighed something. Then he said it. They're not just trying to stop you, Virelle. They're trying to replace you again, with someone built to be you. My breath caught. Built? He nodded. Someone who streams like you, talks like you, acts like you. They've been grooming a replacement for months. Your brand without your name, your identity without your voice. I staggered back, pulse roaring. It was never about removing me. It was about owning me. Before I could speak, Orion lowered his voice to a whisper. They're launching her soon. And when they do, everything you built will be overwritten. The door slammed shut behind us, locking automatically. I wasn't sure if I was trapped or finally inside the truth. For a moment, the silence in the warehouse felt radioactive. Orion stood a few steps away, arms crossed, eyes darting toward the corners of the room. as if he expected security cameras to crawl out of the walls. I tried to steady my breath. Start talking. All of it. He hesitated, rubbing the back of his neck. Nova Forge's new project. It's called Mirrorline. They've been developing it for months. A creator pipeline, molding personalities, training them to act a certain way, speak a certain way, stream a certain way. My voice came out thin. My way. Yes, he admitted. Yours. They analyzed your streams, your tone, what made viewers stay. They figured out the formula, and they're trying to manufacture it. A cold nausea churned inside me. Who is she? Orion let out a shaky breath. Her name is Kaya Verge. She was signed quietly 2 months before you were pushed out. They've been training her behind the scenes. She streams privately for performance coaching. They're scripting her personality, something relatable, calm, strategic. The perfect Virelle, but without your flaws, without your voice, without your independence. They weren't replacing me with a better version of me. They were replacing me with a version they could own. My pulse hammered. Why tell me this? You're their poster boy. Orion's jaw tightened. Being the face of something doesn't mean you believe in it. I used to think Nova Forge was building opportunity. But now, I think they're building puppets. And I'm tired of watching them pull strings. His voice cracked on the last word. That human moment, the break in his armor, was the only reason I believed him. Suddenly, a humming noise filled the warehouse. I stiffened. Orion stepped forward. Relax. It's just the motion lights kicking back on. This place is old, but it didn't feel like old wiring. It felt like surveillance. I lowered my voice. Why meet here? Why now? Because they're planning to debut her, he said, tone dropping to a whisper. Soon, they'll frame it as a fresh new voice, not a copy. And once she launches, they'll use her to overwrite your narrative. Every time you speak up, they'll call you emotional, jealous, unstable, volatile. The same word from the PR video. I wanted to scream. Instead, I swallowed the fire. So what's the play? I asked. You need leverage, proof, something real. If they launch Kaya Verge before you launch Second Son publicly and officially, they win. If you come forward first, on record, with structure, with community behind you, everything changes. He pulled a USB drive from his pocket, small enough to look harmless. This has training schedules, draft scripts, branding tests, notes on how to replicate your communication style. I shouldn't even have this. My breath hitched. This could help me or ruin you. I know, he said quietly. Give me a reason to believe it's worth it. It was one of the most fragile sentences I'd ever heard. A lifeline thrown into a storm. I took a step closer. I'm not trying to tear Nova Forge down. I'm trying to build something they can't own. Orion stared at me, like he was searching for a lie, and didn't find one. He placed the USB in my hand. It's the only copy I made, he said. Use it carefully. If they find out you have it, everything escalates. Before I could respond, tires screeched outside. Headlights cut through the cracks in the warehouse door. Orion's eyes widened. We need to go. Now. Did you tell anyone we were meeting? No, but that doesn't mean they didn't find out. We slipped out a side exit, footsteps pounding against concrete. The night air stung my lungs. I didn't look back, not because I wasn't afraid, but because I couldn't afford to be. Back in my apartment, I locked the door, curtains drawn, lights off except for my monitor. The USB sat on my desk like it was ticking. I opened a call with Ember. Her video feed flickered on, eyes wide, hair messy like she'd been pacing. V, what happened? You look... Not now, I said, voice shaking. Listen, I told her everything. The Mirrorline project. Kaya Verge. The attempt to overwrite not just my career, but my identity, the USB. Ember leaned forward. So what do we do with it? Drop it publicly? Expose them? No, I said immediately. That's what they expect. They'd spin it as stolen data, malicious intent. I'd look unprofessional, unstable, exactly what they need to discredit me. Ember swallowed. Then what? We outgrow them, faster than they can catch us. I clicked open my documents. Second Son, official launch strategy, verified membership list, sponsorship framework, public mission statement, community-driven code of conduct, creator support channels, anti-coercion policy. It was rough, but real, and ready enough. We launch in 72 hours, I said. Full rollout, public, polished, no secrets, no drama, just the future we're building. Ember nodded slowly. That means no going back. There is no back. Before ending the call, she hesitated. V, what about Kaya, the girl they're training? I stared at the monitor, at the reflection of myself in the glass, at the face they were trying to duplicate. She's not the enemy, I said. She's the next victim. If she finds out what she signed up for, she might need a way out too. So we protect her, Ember asked. If she'll let us. For the first time all night, something softened in my chest. A reminder that revenge wasn't the point. Justice was. I opened the USB. Dozens of files, logs, voice direction notes, brand templates labeled V Stone Adaptive Style. Do not share. They tried to turn me into a blueprint. I would turn myself into a warning. A message notification popped up on screen. Unknown user. Kaya Verge, official. My blood ran cold. Kaya, I heard you talk to Orion. We need to meet before they launch me. Kaya, please. I don't want to become you. I just want to be me. Kaya, before they take that away too. A final message came in. Kaya, you're the only one who can stop this. My hands froze above the keys. This wasn't just a fight anymore. This was a rescue. Kaya's last message stayed on my screen long after the notification faded. You're the only one who can stop this. It felt like a hand reaching out from the same darkness I'd once drowned in. For a long moment, I didn't move. I just listened to my heartbeat, to the hum of my PC, to the ghost of my old life, whispering that I should walk away. But I couldn't. Not anymore. I typed back, me. Where do we meet? She responded instantly. Kaya. Offline. Somewhere safe. I'll send the address. Please come alone. Another meeting. Another risk. Another chance to get trapped. I copied the address and sent it to Ember and Drayton with one message. If I don't check in by midnight, start the backup plan. The meeting spot was an old co-working space on the edge of town. The kind of place startups used before they became corporations, before they learned how to hide their fangs behind branding. I stepped inside. Kaya Verge was already waiting. She looked nothing like what I expected. Not a polished clone. Not a rehearsed persona. Just a girl. Nerves in every line of her body. Eyes that darted like she was afraid someone would claim she didn't belong in her own life. Thank you for coming, she said, voice small. I sat across from her. Why me? Why not someone safer? Someone with more power? Kaya wrung her hands. Because they already own everyone else. The sentence hung in the air like smoke. She glanced around the room, then reached into her backpack and placed a folder on the table. This is my contract, she whispered. It's not like yours. It's worse. I opened it, clause after clause. Content ownership, identity shaping, behavioral oversight, image control, emotional regulation guidelines. The kind of contract designed to build a brand, not protect a person. At the bottom was a line that turned my stomach. If creator deviates from assigned persona or disrupts projected public narrative, disciplinary action will be enforced. I looked up. They tried to turn you into me, her eyes filled with tears. Not just you. A version of you they could manage. A version who didn't ask questions. A version who didn't fight back. My jaw clenched. Why tell me now? Because they're launching me in less than a week, she said. And once they do, I'll disappear again. This time as someone who never got to exist as myself. She leaned closer. Virelle, I don't want to be your replacement. I want to be your ally. For a moment, something inside me softened. But softness didn't erase danger. What are you asking me to do? She took a breath that shook. Help me get out. Help me leave before they own me forever. It would have been easier to say no. Safer. Smarter. My revenge plan didn't have room for a rescue mission. But I remembered the girl I was before the betrayal. The one who thought belonging and ownership were the same thing. The one who didn't know how to fight back. I met Kaya's eyes. You can't run alone. If you're going to walk away, you need protection. I know, she whispered. That's why I came to you. We spent hours planning at that table. A controlled exit. A statement without accusations. A pivot that positioned her as independent, not stolen. A bridge, not a bomb. Kaya took notes with trembling hands. She wasn't built for war, but she was ready to stop being a weapon someone else swung. When we finished, I said, You need a place to go, a team that won't disappear you. Kaya nodded. Second son. The way she said it wasn't a question. And I realized something then. Second son was becoming more than a revenge project. More than a rebound. It was a shelter, a place for people who had been handled instead of heard. We packed her things in silence. Papers, hard drives, a single hoodie with Nova Forge's logo. She hesitated before dropping into the trash. As we left, Kaya looked at me. Do you think they'll come after me? I didn't lie. Yes. Do you think we'll win? I swallowed. We don't need to win today. We just need to stop losing. We reached my car just as a black SUV turned the corner. Slow, deliberate, headlights cutting through the dark like a spotlight, searching for guilt. Kaya froze. That's them. Get in, I said. We pulled out fast. The SUV followed. I turned down side streets I knew from years of late-night drives. The city blurring into streaks of neon. My pulse pounded in my ears. Kaya gripped the handle. Virelle, I see them, I said. We cut through an alley, tires skidding. I didn't stop until we reached a crowded gas station where the world felt too public to be threatened. The SUV slowed at the end of the lot, paused, then kept driving. We sat in silence, breathless. Kaya finally spoke. They won't stop. No, I agreed. They won't. She stared at me, fear and faith fighting in her eyes. So what do we do now? I looked at the highway, stretching ahead, at the dark sky waiting for a second sun to rise. We launch, I said quietly. In 48 hours, before Mirrorline, before they can rewrite us. We go public, we go loud, and we do it together. Kaya exhaled like she'd been underwater for years. Then I'm with you, she said. No matter how bad it gets. I nodded, because it would get bad. The legal pressure, the corporate retaliation, the replacement, the identity theft. The war wasn't coming. It was already here, and I had a feeling the next move wouldn't be a message. It would be an attack.